Micro, small, and medium enterprises in small island developing states, such as those in the Caribbean and Pacific regions, can be creative to acquire financing to fund their business or to become resilient to the effects of climate change. So explains economist and business consultant Kevin Hope of Hope Economics. Mr. Hope recently sat down with SKN Newsline in Antigua and Barbuda, following a presentation he did at the Global Business Development Forum at the SIDS4 conference held recently.
There is always traditional ways that we can revert to. I don't know what we call it in St. Kitts and Nevis, but I think in the Eastern Caribbean, in the Windwards, we call it a susuhan. We've seen evidence where just by folks participating in a sort of cooperative style susuhan, actually having thrift club and savings, for which is what was the foundation for the credit unions, and where you start to build in phases. So there is useful evidence of firms who have been able to grow and expand in a tiered approach, whether through susuhan, whether through savings in their credit unions, etc., and being able to build up a proper profile. So my advice to MSMEs would be start where you are, and even though you may not have the history, at least try to build that credit history by trying to get an account, a credit union, and start actually trying to pass a number of your transactions through these entities.
The ability to access credit is a major challenge facing micro, small, and medium enterprises. But Mr. Hope was keen to point out the importance of these businesses to the economies of small island states. He pointed to public-private partnerships as a way for Caribbean small and medium enterprises to raise the necessary financing for their business.
A key part of the call to action have to be public-private partnership, or one would consider it to be a social partnership. We've seen evidence in those countries that are actually putting in place the regulatory framework and legislation, how there is already improvements in terms of accessing finance. We've seen evidence where there are regional initiatives, such as the Eastern Caribbean Partial Credit Guarantee Cooperation, and the intention of really trying to remove that requirement, or at least reduce the requirements on collateral in terms of the affiliated institutions with whom provide credit. We've seen evidence in terms of a number of firms entering the space to actually provide digital solutions towards helping to improve the credit information for some of these enterprises.
The full interview with Mr. Hope will be published at a later date on SKN Newsline's sister TV channel, Television Caribbean, TVC Channel 40. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.